Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to the Human Resource Machine. Last episode we solved the Fibonacci visitor and the littlest number. Now we're on to the mod module. It's part of the challenge track, so let's see how challenging this is. How many hours of work can you fit in one day? Not enough! There's always a sad remainder of unworked hours. Good thing we have these optional night shifts to cram in more. Yeah, funny guy. Tell me more, tell me more. Yes, I can tell you, you are an enterprising worker. I haven't been home in about 25 years either. Yes. Look at him. If you work too much, you end up like him. Sad, alone, and at a desk in the evening. While a slowly balding guy does all the work and all you do is supervise. Don't do that at home, kids. Alright, let's go onwards. For each, two things in the inbox. Outbox the remainder that would result if you had divided the first by the second. Don't worry, you don't actually have to divide. Don't worry about negative numbers for now. Oof. Interesting. So, a remainder. If you have, it's the opposite of multiplication. We multiplied by adding one number to 0 as many times as we had a second number. And when the second number ran out, we stopped adding and we had our final sum. That's roughly how that worked. In this case, if we calculate the remainder, we could do the reverse. So, we take the number that we are subtracting from, and we just subtract the other number. And we repeat that and repeat that and we repeat that until the number that we are subtracting from goes below 0. Then the number we had before that is the number that actually is the remainder. Let's take an example. For example, if we have 7 and we divide it by 3. If you take 3 off, you have 4 remaining. Take another 3 off, you have 1 remaining. You can't take another 3 off, so 1 is the remainder. So because if you would take 3 off, you would get -2, which is negative. So that's how the algorithm works for this. So let's see if we can actually write it up. So we take a number from the inbox and we put it down. So let's call this A. I'm staying very imaginative. We have A. We have a B. Now we take a number from the inbox and we copy it to B. Okay. So we have to divide the first one by the second one. There's a couple of edge cases. So example I had used first, what if I have 7 divided by 3? I can take 3 2 times off and have 1 as a remainder. What if I started with 1 and I had to divide it by 3? That would already take it down. So it could be that the first division actually takes us there. He said don't worry about negative numbers. So it could be that the first one is the termination condition, but we will never actually start on a negative. So what we can do is do exactly that. So we copy from A, we subtract B. Then if it's negative, we are done. Otherwise, we eventually okay, so if the number we're holding is negative, we have the solution. We just have to jiggle it back, but we more or less have it. But if it's not, then we need to store that. So then we do a copy to, and we store it back into A. And then we jump back, and we don't actually need to copy from A. So we can just go back here and we just subtract B again. And we keep repeating it until A goes negative. After which, we just simply add B again and we send it out, because that's our remainder. And then after that we can go all the way back to the beginning. So this is the simplest solution I can think of. Let's see how if it actually works, as I had it in my head. And then we need to optimize it. Okay. This one wasn't actually that challenging. Time for another one. Cumulative countdown, number 25. What's the purpose of this assignment? I think it's something about calculating the volume beneath staircases. We have to put the interns somewhere. Wait, don't you put apprentice wizards below staircases? Ah well, maybe they are interns as well. We have a vast stairwell here. Oh, did you take the elevator? Well, nice of you to show up. For each thing in the inbox, outbox the sum of itself plus all numbers down to 0. For example, if the inbox is 3, outbox should be 6 because 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 6. Okay. That's also an interesting one. So we have a number from the inbox. Let's start with A. That's the number we work with. And let's say we have a sum here. Actually, let's see. So we copy the number to A, and we can immediately also copy it to the sum. Because we start with 3, that's the first one. So then what we do afterwards is we negatively bump A, that we subtract 1 from A, we keep it in our hands, and we apply it to sum. So then we add it to the sum, and we need to copy it to the sum. Okay, and then we repeat. Okay, we need a termination condition. So if we are holding 0 in our hands, we have an issue. Or basically that's when we stop, because I'm already eyeing this 0. That's gonna throw a wrench in this. If we don't have 0, this is gonna be... we also need to outbox it sometime, and then we just jump back to the beginning. And there needs to be a jump in here that provides the termination condition. So let's see, we inbox it, we put it in A, we put it in sum. That primes everything. Then we bump it down. And at this point we can say, well, okay, if it's 0, we just exit. Because then the first time through we would have the 3 from this. Then we get here, drop it down to 2, which is not 0, so we add it to the sum. We copy it to the sum. Then we bump A down once again, so the 2 becomes a 1, which still is not 0, so we add it. Then the sum is 6, at which point we go back, we bump it, and we bump the 1 down to a 0, which means the end. Okay. That's okay, but the thing is, if we enter with a 0, then we put a 0 here, put a 0 here, so that's these 2 executed. Then we bump 0 down, which might not be what we want. Also, before the outbox, we probably need to copy from the sum. Okay, on the other hand, if we inbox, if it's a 0, we can just instantly skip over and just send it straight to the outbox and go back. That's a way to end this. So let's see. Also, there's a 0 on the floor. Interesting that they put it there. Because this is once again a good solution. Okay, not arguing with results. Let's see, small divide. That's year 26. Remember last time when I told you you didn't need to divide? Well, now you get to. For each 2 things in the inbox, how many times does the second fully fit into the first? Don't worry about negative numbers, divide with 0, or remainders. Self-improvement tip. This might be a good time to practice copying and pasting from a previous assignment. Okay. Let's follow the instructions. So, go to the mod module. Yes, thank you for the splash screen. We do a copy. We do a paste. And then we reuse the thingamajig. Yes. So, we have A, we have a B. We already do the thingamajig. Only is we don't really care about A. All we do care about now is the count, which we can do here. So we have a count. Thinking of Count Dracula now. Big pointy fangs. But okay. So let's see if we open up. Let's see. We can prime it by loading A and B. Sure, fine. After that we should load 0, and we copy it to the count. Let's mark this as 0. Okay. Let's make it copy from rather than a copy to. Yes. So we load 0, put it in here. That way we always have a count that starts at 0. Numbers A and B are primed. Then we load in A, we subtract B. Then if it's negative, we have reached our count because we can no longer divide. After which we actually do a copy from the count and we outbox it. And then we jump back and then we reset the entire shebang. If the count is not negative, we need to continue. But we need to actually write the result to A, but after that we need to do a bump of count. Then we go back and then we sub B, which means we need to do a copy from A again. This is going to be slightly annoying. Before, the loop was very, very efficient because I was holding the value in my hands the entire time until the end. And now I need to shuffle 2 variables. So this is not going to be efficient or pretty, but it might just work. So let's see if I accounted for all the different edge cases. So far, no complaints. That's good. So far, no complaints. We were fast enough, but I used one instruction too many. Let's see if we can take that out. Let's see. All we need to do is just let's see. Let's do a copy. We paste it. Always, if you're working on a new solution, just do it in a new tab. Then, if you screw up horribly, you can always go back. Okay, so we load A, we load B, we reset 0, and then we do a copy from A. There's no point in shuffling this order. That's okay. Okay. So we load A, we subtract B, and there's a copy from A again. That's what we do just before the loop. So what if we do it like this? Then we just take that out. So because it was outside of the loop and it was at the end of the loop, so that means I could just shift around. Basically make it work exactly as fast, but use one less instruction. Okay, fast enough. Let's go onwards. Midnight Petroleum. See smoke. That's not good. Totally not ominous. Definitely not ominous. Okay then. 3 swords. Yes, we rank all our employees here, from worst performing all the way up to best performing. What? Where do you rank? Let me give it some thought while we complete this assignment. Tell me more! Yes, you need to sort sets of numbers. Don't worry, our data resources here have no feelings, which we find to be convenient. For each 3 things in the inbox, send them to the outbox in order from smallest to largest. Something's already set up, so in historical fashion, let's start with letters A, B and C. So there are a number of sorting algorithms for sorting long lists of items and in doing that in different ways. They all get taught in computer science class and algorithms class and all kinds of things like that. It's been a long time since I took any of those classes, so I'm a bit fuzzy on the details. But this is it's a fixed length list. We only have 3 things, so we can just, let's see, we can check if, let's see, we want A to be the largest, B to be the medium and C to be the smallest. That's the goal we're going for. So we just start, we load 3 things in random order. So if A is larger than B, that seems good. If B is larger than C, that's also good. If A is not larger than B, that means B is larger than A, so we swap them around. After that, we check, is B larger than C? If that's not the case, that means C is larger than B, so we need to swap them around. After we do that swap, and only after that swap, do we need to go back and check if A and B are still larger. And because then we need to swap those around as well. I'm thinking, let's see, if we start with complete reverse order. So 3, 2, 1. So we start from the beginning. 1, 2. We swap them around. We get 2, 1. And that's optimized for now. So then we check at these. 1 and 3. Also not good. So we move the 3 here, 1 there. So we got 2, 3, 1. So if we go back, 2, 3, we swap them around, 3, 2. That means B and C are always going to be smaller in that case, or always going to be good, because they have already been pre-sorted, so there's no need to do that again. Easiest way, after sorting the last 2, is to just go back to the beginning and just apply the entire sort procedure again. In terms of instruction count, that's going to be efficient. In terms of execution speed, you will be double sorting the last bit, so that's going to be trickier. So this probably will require 2 different solutions. One for lower instruction count, one for faster runtime. So that's something already I got in mind. So let's go for lowest instruction count first, then go for speed second. Okay, so let's see. We have a temporary thing, because if we want to swap things around, it's useful to have a temporary thing. Okay, so we load stuff up. Put A, B, and C in. Then we check. 1 is A. Basically, we only want to sort if B is larger than A. If they're equal, we don't have to sort. So only if B is larger than A. So if we take A minus B. If that's negative, we need to swap them around. So that's exactly what we do. We do a copy from A. We subtract B. And then if it's negative, we need to swap A and B. And otherwise, they're good. So let's work with some stickers. So in this case, we need to swap A and B because B is larger than A. Otherwise, we know A is larger than B. Okay, so if A is larger than B, these are already pre-sorted, then we can just continue with B and C. So in that case, we do the exact same thing. We copy from B, we subtract C. And if that's negative, we know we have an issue again. Let's put them down there. Because in that case, we know C is larger than B. And otherwise, we know B is larger than C. So our ideal path is that it's all pre-sorted. Then we just fold through, then we know A is larger than B is larger than C, so we are done. What's the output? Send them to the outbox in order from smallest to largest. So we do CBA. That's always the exit. So let's do that all the way to top. So we do a copy from C and we outbox it. We do a copy from B and we outbox it. And we do a copy from A and we outbox it. And after that, we just continue with the loop as we do. So in this case, here we need to do a jump because we have everything we need. So if I start a slow walkthrough, 862 is already pre-sorted. We should fall through and go to the next one, which is going to be 248, which is going to crash. Okay, so let's check. This is not negative. Cool. This is not negative. Cool. So I take the smallest, we take the next, and we take the next. And then it's gonna crash. Put 2 down, we put 4 down, we put 8 down. Okay. This is gonna be negative, and we don't have that implemented yet. Okay, good. So we implement a in-place shuffle for A and B. So if we jump in here, we just subtracted it. Let's do the simple thing. So that's it, the first one, A and B. We jump here. B is larger than A, so we copy from A, put it in temp. And we copy from B, put it in A. Then we copy from the temp and we put it into B. So those two are now shuffled, means we can move on with our lives. Which means A is larger than B now, so we can just jump there, because we just fixed that. Okay, cool. So, next one. Jump if negative. B larger than C. We need to shuffle B and C. Wait, let's do the same thing again. So we copy from B, we put it into temp. We copy from C and we put it into B. Then we put our temp value back into C and they have been swapped in place. After which we swap these two around. So we affected these two, so we need to jump back. This is where I mentioned before where there were two different solutions. For now I'm going with the easy one. And we are gonna go back to the start of sorting. And we just sort A and B again, and we have a risk of double comparing B and C at the expense of a couple of extra cycles. But it does mean that we now have a working solution that should run to the end. Worked out of the box. Instruction size, this is the optimal solution for that, and I was correct that it's not optimized for speed. So let's go back. Let's see, do a copy. Yes. We do paste. Okay, so we need to write it out. So we sort A and B, we move on to comparing B and C. That's all fine. Also, let's see, I might be able to get away with using less jumps here. So let's go back. For the A-B comparison, that's the first thing. So we compare A and B. Let's see, we load B, subtract A. If it's negative, we know B is larger than A, otherwise A is larger than B. Actually, we do that here. These jumps. But what we do is we jump down. And after we are done shuffling, we jump back. Because if we have a no negative, we just fall through. Okay, so either way there's always going to be a jump. Let's not focus too much on that. Okay, so after we shuffle B and C, we go back. All the way to the start, rather than only copying a bit. So let's actually do another shuffle. So C is larger than B, and then we need to check if A and B are good again. So we do that the same way we did with the other ones. We load A. Actually, double check. Yeah, we load A, we subtract B. Then if it's a negative, we need to swap, otherwise they are good. So let's see, we do a copy from A, we put it in temp, we copy B, we put it into A. Ooh, actually, all we need to do is identify which of the three are larger or smaller. That's also one thing. Completely different way of thinking about it. Because what I'm now doing is sorting in place and then copying to the output. But if I already know which one is larger than the other one, I can just read the outputs in order. I was still stuck in the mindset of optimizing for instruction count as well. You can do a completely different solution by just determining which is larger and which is smaller. You use more instructions and encode all different outcomes in the code. But there's not going to be any shuffling, there's not going to be any copy pasting, you don't need temp for this, and it's going to be a lot faster. So the solution I'm working on now is just the optimized version of the first one I had, and it's not going to be the fastest. I'm going to have to work on that one afterwards. So let's continue the shuffle. So we A temp, B A, then temp B. Copy from temp, we copy it to B. Now those two are sorted. B and C have already been sorted due to the first thingamajig. So we are good now. Which means we can jump all the way to our solution up here. And we do the same thing here because we know we are done. This is going to be slightly better than our previous solution, but it's not going to be fast enough. I mean, I would be very surprised if this was fast enough. Because it shouldn't save that money in cycles to begin with. See, there's a big gap here. There's 42 instructions difference. Okay, so we copy. Actually, no, we inbox, copy to A. We inbox, we copy to B. We inbox, and we copy to C. Let's label them again. Let's make a proper A out of it rather than kind of mutated A. C, ABC. Okay, so we first double check which is larger, A or B. So it's basically if we do them, if we compare all the different options, either of the three could be the largest. Then one of the other two is going to be the next, and there's always one remaining. So there's not going to be too many options, so we can actually write it all out. That's probably why they stuck with 3 rather than a longer list. Okay, so let's see. We started with C in the end, so that's what we're still holding. So let's just subtract B. If it's negative. Okay, so if it's positive, if C minus B is positive, then they're either equal or C is larger. So let's go with C is larger. Okay, otherwise B is larger than C. So far, so good. Okay, then we need to check if let's continue in line. So we compare this, then we do a copy from A, we subtract B. Okay. So A minus B. Well, again, we can do a negative jump check thingamajig. And we will have 2 outcomes. Let's just for now just put the stickers in. Okay, so if A minus B is not negative, we know that A is larger than B. Conversely, if A minus B is negative, then we know B is larger than A. So let's see, if we are here, we know C is larger than B in this bit because we just fell through for that. So C is larger than B. In this case, if we know that A is larger than B, then we know that both A and C are larger than B, but we don't know if A or C is larger. So what we still need to check is to see if A or C is larger. So that's exactly what we do. We load in A, we subtract C. And when we do another jump of negative, so many labels. This is, as I said, this is not optimized for instruction count. This is optimized for run speed. So let's see. Take A, we subtract C. So if that is negative, we know C is larger than A. Otherwise, we know A is larger than C. Okay. So let's see, from beginning to end. think I still have a solution, something to solve. Yeah, here. So I think I need to write it out a bit more, because now there's just disjointed facts and it's hard to see what's part of what case. Because in the beginning I have a jump of negative, and this is all working out C larger than B, and then working out the inner sorting, so to say. This is a whole different ball game. So let's put a line above it to put in a separator. This is one edge case, then here we need to basically do the same thing. So we know B is larger than C. We can compare A and B. So we do a copy from A, we subtract B. Then we do a negative check. We have, let's see, if A minus B is positive, then we know A is larger than B. Otherwise we know B is larger than A. Okay, so here we know B is larger than C. Okay, good. If A is larger than B, because B is larger than C, we also know A is larger than C. So in this case we know we're done. That's basically also why I didn't work out another edge case over here, because that was the same thing but in reverse. I kind of hopped over that. But in this case, if B is larger than A, then again we know B is larger than C and is larger than A, but we don't know if C or A is larger or smaller. So that's what we need to compare over here. So once again, we copy from A, we subtract C, and then we have two possible outcomes. In the case of the difference being positive, then we know A is larger than C. In this case, I'm treating the values being equal as larger just because of how the math works out. In this case, we have C being larger than A. I kind of wiggled that in there. Okay, so that's all the possible outcomes. Now I just need to write them out by copying and then so let's see, A larger than C, and C is larger than B. Okay, so I need to write this down more compactly. A is larger than C, which is larger than B. So this is a final outcome. Otherwise we know C is larger than A. And let's see, we already figured out that C is larger than B. C is larger than A. But we don't know any relationship between B and C here, do we? I'm slowly starting to confuse myself. Probably. C is larger than B, A is larger than B. Okay, then here we know C is larger than A. Yes, so then we know it's C, B. I know C, A, B. Yes. Because they're both larger than B. So. Okay. So these are the two outcomes that we have over here. Here we have B is larger than being larger than A. We already know C is larger than B. So we know it's CBA over here. So we have C being larger than B, being larger than A. Yes, so then we can just output them in that order. So what we do is we do a copy from A, we output it. Then we do a copy from C, and we output it. Then we do a copy from B, and then we output it. And then we are done. So we can jump all the way back to the beginning. Okay, that's 1 out of 6 possible outcomes handled. Yes, so let's see, next up. Copy from C, outbox. Copy from A, outbox. copy from B. And outbox. And then we jump all the way back to the beginning. And then the final one for this branch. So we copy from C and we outbox. Then we do a copy from B. And we outbox. And then we do a copy from A and we outbox. And then once again we are done. So we can move back to the beginning. Right. So let's see. We have the solution B is larger than C, A is larger than B. So in that case we know A is larger than B, B is larger than C, so we know this one is going to be ABC. That's it. I'm just going to write the letters in order, and I'm not putting the bigger than marks in between. I also need to do slightly neater. A, B, C. Okay. Next up, we know B is larger than A, but both B is larger than both A and C, so we need to figure out which is the most important one. Okay, so here we know A is larger than C. We also know that B is larger than C and B is larger than A. So this is going to be BAC. B, A, and C. And that leaves this one. C is larger than A. So B, C, A. So that also means that they need to have 6 series of inputs to match all possible outcomes to test this solution. That's going to be a pretty long string of thingamajigs. Okay, so let's see. Copy from A. And we outbox it. We copy from B. We outbox it. We copy from C. And we outbox it. Then we are done. Kevin. Yes. Next up, BAC. We copy from. Could probably do this in less things because I know both of these start with a B, so I could actually send it out already over here. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it simple, and I don't worry about instruction count. So we copy from B, and we outbox. We copy from A, and we outbox. Because this way it's more readable. It's already confusing enough, trust me. Okay, then we're done. We can jump back to where we began this adventure, all the way at the top. Let's go down to the bottom again. Final one. We copy from B. We outbox. We copy from C. We outbox. And we copy from A. And we outbox. And then a final jump. Now I hope I didn't make a mistake somewhere, because this is going to be a hell to debug, because there's just so many different solutions, so many things. Let it run. Let's see. Okay. Oh wait, I need to send them out in reverse order. I'm sending out the largest first. I should send out the smallest first. Okay. So B goes up. A goes down. This is relatively straightforward. So we move C down, move B up. It's also nice that I didn't take any optimization shortcuts by sending things out from the beginning, since I need to start basically at the end and work my way backwards. Put this one here, push that one there, that one here, that one there, 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 here. There, let's try this again. far so good. Hallelujah. Fast enough? Fast enough. Better than the benchmark. And I was right, this is a hog in terms of size. But we made it, level 28, solved. Well, that was fun. So, 3 problems in 15 minutes and the last one takes half an hour to get both of the solutions right. This is a fun one. Definitely, I actually tried three different solutions, didn't I? Because midway through the second one I thought of the third way to do it, which proved to be the right one, or well, at least the most optimal one in terms of execution speed. So, yeah, still having a lot of fun. Hope you are having as well, just watching this. If you got stuck, I hope this provided a some understanding of how I try to solve it. So, yeah, well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.